Geometry Dash 2.2 is coming out in October. Or wait, no, hold on. Okay, yeah. 2.2 is coming out in November, maybe. You know what? Just forget it. We all know that the last time an official GD update came out was 6 years ago in November of 2017. My God, I was like 2 years old back then, bro. But over the past couple of years, the update has certainly had a promising looking future in terms of when it's releasing. It's been getting incredibly close, and in light of that, I figured I'd try to make a discussion video before it's released this year. By the way, this is gonna act as a really quick disclaimer. I've never done a kind of video like this before, and I mostly make content videos rather than these kinds of like essay videos. And to add on to that, this video may be a little bit controversial because I'm going to be more focusing on what I'm worried about with this update rather than what I'm excited about. So please keep an open mind as you watch this video. I'm totally up for people putting their opinions in the comments and everything, but just please understand that I'm still really excited for this update. And I just wanted to use this video as a way to throw some thoughts out here on YouTube. So yeah, with that, let's get right into the video. Of course, 6 years is obviously an incredibly long time to be anticipating an update. During this time, the community has taken what limitations the editor has, and we have reached for the stars every single year, both in terms of players' skills and beating levels that would be considered impossible back in early 2.1, as well as just the GD editor in general. This editor and the creativity of decoration has always been something that's special to me. There has been absolutely nothing added in 6 years to this GD editor, and yet there are still creations that continue to raise the bar and make me question how this was even made in the same editor that hasn't been changed since 2017. Bro, update 2.11 changed like one thing in the editor, being the addition of the link feature. So besides that, this whole entire editor is older than like Fortnite Battle Royale, bro. Like, what? Similar to how GD creations have kept raising the bar, this game's popularity has only continued to rise as well. Like, really rise. So what's my point in saying all this? Am I saying that 2.2 is going to be bad for the community to come out? Not even in the slightest. It's going to make the editor more efficient. There will be more things to do. There will be so much more creative freedom in the editor. Blah, you all know why we want this update. But I truly feel as great as this update is, there's still a part I feel that gets overlooked by a lot of people. Of course, we all want to focus on the new amazing stuff coming. It's incredibly exciting, especially the most important stuff. But will this update be 100% positive for the community? My honest answer, no, unfortunately. Everything that I've talked about in this video so far has been related to the community in some way. The GD community has been vital to the game for so many years, and how exactly is that community going to respond with an update having 6 years worth of content?
Now wait a full minute.
This update isn't just a lot of new additions to the game, it feels like an entire remastering of it. How easy is this transition going to be in this entire new world? Of course, there's no way to know until it eventually releases. However, I would like to talk about one point that's been on my mind ever since its debut in February of 2019. Platformer mode. Geometry Dash levels for the past 10 years have pretty much come down to two main principles. Every level plays the same, continuously scrolling right without the player stopping, unless they die. And the second major principle simply is that every level finishes once the player has reached the end. However, with this new platformer mode feature, it takes the fundamentals of GD and does this. What? This is a significant change to how Geometry Dash has functioned in all of its history. This idea of turning GD into an actual typical platformer is something that has barely been accomplished in the past at all, because GD was always meant to run to the right before 2.2. However, with 2.2, guess what? It's finally possible, yo. This is basically Mario Maker now, but with GD. We can literally make like whole entire campaigns and games similar to Sonic or Celeste. This is so sick. I can't wait to use platformer mode. Said by not the entire community. Not everyone is going to like these new features, and you know what? That's totally okay. We've had features in the past that people just didn't like and don't really use that much today. However, platformer mode without a doubt is going to be a feature that is truly going to stick with the community. Unlike this thing. And while you could totally just say that people who won't like platformer mode could just ignore the feature when it comes out, it's really not that simple. Platformer levels that get rated will start showing up commonly in the feature tab, assuming that's where they're gonna go. And we've already seen numerous different official platformer levels made by Rob himself. If a player doesn't like the new platform mode, it's not gonna exactly be the easiest thing to escape it. But why exactly would people not want this feature in the first place? A lot of the reason comes down to simply it's just such a different way of playing GD than what everybody in the community is used to. And trust me, not all huge changes are necessarily bad in games at all. all. But like I stated earlier, it is a completely new realm of Geometry Dash. I mean, look at some of the previews for levels made by RobTop in platformer mode. The movements and animations of these levels are looped so that as a platformer level, you could really play it at any pace you want. GD levels for the past 10 years, on the other hand, have just been a large block of code that runs the exact same way every time. A spike is always right here, the background pulse is here, the game mode changes here, the game usually lags right here. I will say this though, for many creators, I think platformer mode will be very refreshing to those who want to explore something completely new. Some triggers and other new features may be designed specifically for platformer mode, which is great. And as incredible as this new part of GD will be, I just truthfully don't have the confidence that a majority of the community will end up liking this mode. Before I continue talking deeper about why the community may feel mixed about platformer mode, I want to talk about the complexity that's going to come with this update. RobTop, how in God's name is it possible to add so many triggers? Like how are we gonna learn what all these do? Bro, I still don't even know how the spawn trigger fully works.
What the fuck?
How am I gonna learn what every single one of these giant menus for every single new trigger does? Currently in GD right now, we have 17 triggers in the editor. With us being quote-unquote limited to these triggers, people still call this 2.1 editor a game engine with what it can do. Once people start getting comfortable with even a handful of these new 2.2 triggers, the game is going to be so incredibly different, and it's going to completely reshape so much about GD. Long live the days of levels that look like this. Nah, your levels have to always have camera movements and filters now.
Dude, like, it's so cool.
Yes, of course, it's definitely expected that early 2.2 levels will be horrible, at least in the first few months. It follows the same path as early 2.1 levels, and honestly early 2.0 levels too, which those are so much worse, dude. Of course, transitioning into this update is not going to be easy, but still, I think this feeling of scrolling through like 826 pages of new triggers won't exactly subside quickly with creators. 2.2 is an astronomical jump in complexity compared to 2.1, which I'm just worried that it may make the game feel more convoluted rather than actually advanced. Here's the thing, it's a common theme among popular games for players to miss the old days back when the game was different or more enjoyable in different ways. And to be honest, I feel confident that 2.2 will just be such an immense change to the game that lots of people will start reminiscing about playing in 2.1 again. We have to remember that there's a reason that GD continues to only get more popular despite being without an update for over half a decade. And that reason comes from people genuinely enjoying the current state of the game. Yes, it can be incredibly flawed at times, which is another reason why we're all excited for 2.2 to come out and fix these bugs. However, people still enjoy the content that's been in 2.1 for so long. And just from so many factors, it's obvious that 2.2 will be a huge adjustment for everyone. But there's no telling how long it will take for everyone to get accustomed to the update. It could take until the entire next major update for people to start feeling comfortable. And by then, we'd have even more new features to get used to with the next update. And here is my hot take. If there's one thing to take away from this video, it's all been leading up to this opinion right here. Personally, I believe that the result of everything that I've said so far in this video will cause a major divide in the community. Not only may the community split between players who want to go back to 2.1, a much less complicated update compared to 2.2, but also there may be a split in the community because of platformer mode. Will I be wrong in my predictions? I honestly hope so. Yes, there are some pretty bold predictions I have, but the last thing I want is for this game to decline from such an incredible update. We've been in 2.1 for so long anticipating this update, and I don't want this giant project that Rob has spent the last 6 years of his life working on to worsen the state of GD solely because of the community. Platformer mode being a huge highlight and feature of 2.2 is great, but it may have some varied reactions in the community. 2.2 having 6 years worth of brand new and complicated content to explore is also great, but it also may have some varied reactions in the community. I have faith in the update that it will be amazing. I mean, who doesn't get excited looking at all of the new trailers and previews and watching like every single X Creator Gold news video? But I think what people are overlooking is the fact that GD is already a super well-rounded game. Of course, the current version of GD has its quirks and flaws, but 2.1 for the past 6 years has already set a rather high standard. I mean, what games in history can say their player base keeps rising after over half a decade of no updates? Especially for a simple 2D platformer game. It seems like for 2.2, it's not a matter of having a quantity over quality update. If anything, we're getting both. There will be a lot of new features coming, and a whole lot of them will be great additions for the game. But after a few months of the update's release, I'm I'm just super curious to see how the community will feel about the state of the game once a lot of the hype begins to settle down. Will 2.2 feel so different to the point that everybody wishes they could go back to 2.1? Will platformer mode create conflict over people preferring vanilla GD against platformer mode, or vice versa? I think this is something that everybody in the community should have in the back of their minds as the update slowly rolls out. But other than that, this really wraps up all that I want to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this very differently styled video than what I usually make. Let me know if I actually did a good job in the comments or not, and maybe drop some brief thoughts about the topics in the video as well. I'd love to create some discussions about this topic and see how everybody else thinks about it. I'll be honest, this project was a really intimidating video to make. But hey, even if everyone disagrees with my points, but you still enjoyed this style of video, I may do something similar to this kind of thing in the future if it turned out well. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later.